another session on 10 questions which are very similar to the real exam. I will be going ahead and presenting all 10 of those. You are welcome to go ahead and send your comments and also go ahead and solve any of those questions or all of those questions. And as always, I expect an electrifying audience with various kinds of questions, and I will be there to go ahead and solve the same. So having said that, has been a great month, altogether for EduHubSpot. Towards the fag end of this month, there has been a lot of activities and a lot of good things, going ahead and coming in. We are at the threshold of going ahead and coming out with a new website, as well as obviously some new videos out there, which will be definitely going ahead and seeing. Not that the current videos are not updated; those have also been updated or upgraded. But apart from that, we are also going to go ahead and launch, some new videos, some of which you might have already gone ahead and accessed on our YouTube channel from none other than Varun himself. Good evening, Tajuddin. Good evening, Adam. Good evening, Indumati. Good evening, everyone who is joining. All from across the globe. So we are out there to go ahead and help you the best way possible. Having said that, we are also going ahead and kickstarting the weekend and the weekday batches pretty soon. They will be going ahead and coming up from April onwards, and the entire team of mentors out there are looking forward to help you even more, and obviously go ahead and ace the exam. So you'll also be sending out the weekly newsletters, or rather the monthly newsletters, at the end of every month. You can expect that to go ahead and come into your inbox, provided you are going ahead and subscribing to our channel. And where can you go ahead and subscribe? Let me share the URL. So that's our URL out there. If you go ahead and scroll down below, you can go ahead and subscribe, by going ahead and sharing your email ID. You'll go ahead and get weekly questions, both PMP and ACP, and also go ahead and get, such notifications out there. Also, very importantly, you can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Just type EduHubSpot in, www.youtube.com, and obviously you'll be able to go ahead and make the most. Okay, so Vignesh says, I have 5 years experience in supply chain. It's good for my career doing PMP. Seek some guidance here. Absolutely, Vignesh. Please reach me out on my email ID. Let me share the same. You can also reach me out on my personal number, on cell, WhatsApp. You can just call me at any point of time, and I will be more than happy to go ahead and help you out. I also am very active in LinkedIn. So let me also share my LinkedIn ID out here with you. You can send me any messages. Obviously, I look forward to connecting with any one of you from any parts of the spheres in terms of your professional experience, and go ahead and help notch up a very important journey out here on PMP. Very importantly, EduHubSpot is always looking forward to go ahead and up the level of help and also the quality, from our end. We are always striving for excellence, and nothing goes ahead and helps settle us without, going ahead and seeing to it that, none other than, not only the curriculum, but also, the mentorship, and also, the help that we keep providing to you day in and out. That stands out from rest. You can't go ahead and get this kind of help whatsoever. And once we go ahead and, get the testimonials and share across, that becomes a class apart. So reach us out for any kind of help whatsoever. We pride in going ahead and creating your success stories, and we pride in going ahead and taking you forward as well. So as I said, April is also going to be a very good start for many of you who are going ahead and looking forward to ace the exam, not only in April but May, even June. And you can go ahead and get more information about the plethora of courses out here that we have in hand out here. And if you have any doubts and queries, as always, you can reach me out. Just now shared my LinkedIn ID, my phone number, as well as email, and you can, get all kinds of help, whatever is needed for acing PMP. Acing PMP with above target scores in all domains. That is our target. It's not only about passing PMP, but acing it, with our target with all domains. And believe me, you will go ahead and keep coming back to us with any other certification or any other help that we can go ahead and provide. Okay, so having said that, okay, so Jimmy says, what would happen if the money for project are transferred to another project? Okay, so we'll see, see that, Jimmy. You can again reach me out over email. And, not only this question, if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to help you out. So let's get started with the questions there of the day. I will go ahead and share my screen for the first question. As you see out here, this is the first question of the day, and I will kickstart the timer. Okay, so time's up, and I go ahead and get to see many comments coming out from Anusha, Abhishek. Both of you, awesome, well done, and we are, as always, very, very proud. How about you guys go ahead and reach me out as well? I'd like to personally connect with you and take it forward from there on. We are always there to go ahead and help you. Yeah, PMP is just a milestone. We'll go ahead and see if there are any other milestones that I can go ahead and take you forward with. Okay, so having said that, I can go ahead and see many of the questions, many of the attempts coming out from all of you, which is really great. Many says B, some says B as well. Oh, is it? Okay, let's see what the answer to this question is. Don't worry if you are not able to read the question using your mobile. I'd recommend that you switch to a good network or even, go ahead and refer to your laptop while seeing this particular question. But then let's get into or dig deep into the question out here. What the question is going on and saying. Let's see. So Tim is the agile project manager of a complex project that has distinct work packages of varying durations. The work packages further comprise of tasks that cannot be predictively scheduled. Which of the following agile approaches should you recommend team to go ahead and use in this case? Now, if you go ahead and get this question, what are the first key pointers to go ahead and take it forward? The first and foremost thing is this is a question on agile. Okay, well and good. Now it goes on and says that you are dealing with complex project. Now, that is also a giver that agile will deal with complex projects. The project has distinct work packages of varying durations. Okay, so distinct work packages of varying durations. Absolutely, Indumati, you got the right keyword. The work packages need to be delivered with varying durations, right? Now, the work packages further comprise of tasks that cannot be predictably scheduled, which is why you are going in and adopting agile. Now, which of the following agile approaches should you go ahead and recommend to Tim? Now, very very importantly out here, I see many of you going ahead and getting fixed between B and D. But very importantly, if you are going ahead with B, what should be the keyword that go ahead and should go ahead and stick out in your mind? Very importantly, if you are choosing incremental, yeah, what is the keyword that you will be looking out for inside the question if you are going ahead and choosing incremental life cycle? Can anyone come out with that keyword? You can type out on the chat. What is the keyword for choosing incremental life cycle? Okay. Indumati says time box. Stefano says iteration, but there is something else as well, which we are ignoring, and that is the most critical part. Not necessarily MVP, Abhishek. For incremental life cycle, what is the the key? I understand and I fully acknowledge that we are going to deliver the the key thing with value. Absolutely, absolutely. Oman, absolutely Sutapa, absolutely Arvind. Yes, is the speed that we are looking forward to, isn't it? We are not looking for varying delivery or varying durations out there from incremental. So if you are having that conception, it's a misconception out there. We are looking out for speed out there. If you are, say, for example, coming out with some product, you have to come out with some product when the market is already filled with similar products and giving a your stiff competition. You have to worry about speed. You have to come out with something, very, very soon out there in the market. It is the quickness, is the fastness of the delivery that comes in play, isn't it? Now tell me, is the question going ahead and at any point of time talking about speed? Tim is agile project manager of complex project that has distinct work packages of varying durations. Work packages further comprise of tasks that cannot be predictably scheduled. Where has it gone ahead and mentioned that you need packages, with greater speed or greater, speed or whatsoever, or greater, or immediately you need to go ahead and come out with some of the other products in the market? Has it gone ahead and said anything about that? I don't see it. So why will you go ahead and choose incremental? Now, predictive is anyways ruled out. We are talking about agile. There is nothing called extreme agile life cycle. Extreme programming is there, but extreme is obviously a vague thing. So anyways, go ahead and get to eliminate A, B, and C, right? Now, even if you didn't know anything about flow based, which happens to seamlessly fall in place, with this situation given in the question. The situation given is about varying durations. So flow based will have varying duration iterations, and as per the need, you go for the iteration, length and take it forward. So that would be the way forward to go flow based agile. Right. So, you didn't have anything about speed out there in the question, right? So why would you have been, fixed about incremental? It has to be option D, just flow based agile. So click on that, seamlessly go ahead and submit. You know for sure that is the correct option. Move on to the next question. So this is how you'll have to go, for each and every question. You have to be clear with regards to thought process, and then only ace the questions as and when they come. Now here goes your second question. Let me make it full screen, and your timer starts now. Okay, any other options? I see Maleshwara saying C, Stefano saying C, Susmita saying D. Anyone else? Okay, Manveen saying C, Adam saying C. Okay, Dumati going for C. Let's see what the correct answer is for this question. So it says John, a member of an efficient agile team, comes out with new ideas and adds innovative features to the backlog. Okay, so new ideas, innovative features getting added to the product backlog. Now, these features got sequentially implemented, tested, and completed. So, implementation, testing, completion, all got done sequentially. However, upon completion, the portfolio owner rejected all the new features that additionally got added. Right? So, upon completion, the portfolio owner rejected all the new features that additionally got added. Which of the following could be the most likely reason as to why the portfolio owner rejected it? Now, initially at the outset, on first go, it might be difficult to go ahead and get 100% of the question. Directly jump to the options right away. Again, read what the question is going ahead and saying. John, a member of the team, comes out with new ideas and adds innovative features to the backlog. Features got implemented, tested, and completed, whatever John had gone ahead and added. However, upon completion, the portfolio owner rejected all these features whatsoever. Now, you include some features that got completed. However, there is some important stakeholder like the portfolio owner, goes ahead and says that no, I'm not going to accept these. Obviously, there is a difference in opinion between you and the portfolio owner, isn't it? Now, what should be the most likely reason as to why the portfolio owner rejected it? Simple reason is there happens to be some mismatch in thought processes, isn't it? There has to be some alignment. That's what you are looking forward to. And see, these are the kinds of questions that would come. You don't have to overthink. Whatever goes ahead and gets evident or is evident from the question, you'll have to go ahead and highlight precisely the same. So out here, if you see, the option A says the team would be entitled to IPR or intellectual property rights on the features. Nothing to do with the question, right? A gets ruled out. B says the portfolio owner does not wish to pay for the team's unplanned work. Has it been mentioned in the question? Again, outside the context, ruled out. Option C says the product owner did not sufficiently align with the product owner on the ideas whatsoever. Absolutely the way in which we are thinking, right? Option D says the team did not make use of normal quality control processes. Why quality control process comes in play? Absolutely, you didn't engage the stakeholders. Perfect, Jyoti. So the correct option out here is obviously option C, which stands out. Many of you have gone ahead and attempted the correct option itself, which is option C. C. Okay, let's move on. Let me make it full screen first, and let me take up. Yep. Okay, so last 5 seconds. Anyone? Yes, Anand says D. Manveen says D. Okay, only a couple of attempts is this? Is it? Okay, so let me. Okay, great. So Maleshwara says C, as Abhishek and Pankaj still goes for D. Let's see what the right answer is for this question. From the user test results of a product that just arrived, it's evident that the test users wish a smoother experience. They further wish that many features that currently happen to be currently missing. They further wish many features that currently happen to be currently missing. Okay. Now also they are looking forward to certain ways by which the product can be made more appealing. Which of the following conclusions can be drawn from the user's inputs? Now I am not fully clear about the question on first instance. What is it saying? Which of the conclusions can be drawn from the user's input? So okay, so what inputs has the user given? From the user test results of a product that just arrived. Okay, the product has just arrived and the user has gone ahead and tested on that product. Okay, now what is evident is that the test users wish a smoother experience, so some kind of problem with the experience on using the product. They further wish that many features that they want as such happen to be currently missing. That's what I understand from the sentence. Okay, now they didn't get a smooth experience. Many features which they are wishing happen to be currently missing out. Also, they are looking forward to certain ways in which the product can be made more appealing. Complaints about this question whatsoever. Okay. Now, which of the following conclusions can be drawn from the inputs? Okay. Now, very, very importantly, you know, it's not necessarily that the negative user experiences whatsoever you have come out with reveals that your testing is irrelevant or is incorrect or is unstable whatsoever or is unusable, right? Even if the testing has gone forward in the right direction itself, it will be the right thought process to go ahead and seamlessly assign the test as success, right? So even if your tests are a success, you might go ahead and end up going ahead and coming out with all negative reviews. Absolutely, tests are meant to go ahead and come out with results, either be it positive or negative, isn't it? Right? So are these irrelevant? Are these unusable? Are these a failure, or are these a success? Now these are the questions out here. Very, very importantly, there's a slightly thing out here. And it goes ahead and says that the test users, wish a smoother experience. There happens to be some features which are currently missing, and also the product can be made more appealing. Now the feature is not aligned perfectly with what the customer is, looking forward to. So would that mean that the tests are irrelevant, or the tests are unusable, or the results are unusable whatsoever, or whether the tests are a failure? That's the critical concept that we have to come out with. I don't see any problems with the test, right? So, it is also clearly given out here in option D. The inputs will ensure a more focused backlog. Absolutely the way in which I'm thinking. So let them come out with negative inputs. I'll just focus in or factor in those inputs inside my backlog, and I'll have a more refined backlog. See, that's where the question lies. It is trying to trick you to go ahead and believe over and over again that these are unusable, irrelevant, and it's not talking about the product. It's talking about the tests, which is branding the product as a success or a failure. Right? I understand many of you are going and thinking from the failure perspective of tests. No, the tests are not a failure. Product can be a failure. That is the key thing to understand out here, isn't it? The product can be a failure, because several of the things are missing. Who said that the tests are a failure? The tests are a success, and even if there are negative inputs, you go ahead and ensure that you factor in those inputs and put it into the backlog with more refined items out here, isn't it? The tests were a success. Again, if you have any further doubts, please feel free to reach me out separately. I understand, Omar. No worries. The question says, say for example, that you are making use of EduHubSpot app. Say for example, you are making use of EduHubSpot app on your phone, right? Now, while making use of it, you as a user go ahead and found that there are some bugs. Okay, well and good. You go ahead and report to the support team. Yeah, or even to me saying that Soumya, I'm not able to go ahead and download or even access these tests. Okay, so I accept those and then go ahead and share with the technical support team who immediately comes up with the fix. Right now, you coming out with those negative views, does that mean that the testing of the product is a failure, or you tested, or you went ahead with a failed attempt in testing whatsoever? No. Just because of you, we have come out with some new observations and we went ahead and factored in the product. The tests were a success. Tests can come out with negative results. But does that mean that the test is a failure whatsoever? No. Tests were successful. Tests were successful, but they went ahead and found, or the test went ahead and found or revealed that the product has some downfalls. That is the key aspect of this particular question to take forward. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and your time starts now. Okay, anyone else wishes to come up with any other options? So Maleshwara says A, rest all C. Anyone else with any other option? Okay, let's see what this question is saying. So Michael, R&D executive, occasionally visits the Agile team's work area, coming up with instructions on urgent feature work. So you have some urgent feature work that you need to take care of. In one of the sprint reviews, the product owner becomes increasingly or extremely upset when he gets to know that the team worked on the urgent features. Okay. Now the team had come out with the R&D executive occasionally visits the team, coming out with instructions on urgent feature work. Okay. There is some urgent feature work to go ahead and deal with. And the R&D executive went ahead and visited and came out with instructions on getting done on that urgent feature work. Okay. Now, in the one of the sprint reviews, the product owner becomes extremely upset when he gets to know that the team worked on those features. That is, the features which are identified as urgent or high with high priority. Which of the following means reveal as to how should the project manager deal with the problem. Now, if there are some features which are branded as urgent or highly prioritized, we you coming up and seeing that the product owner is extremely upset and he doesn't want those urgent features. So doesn't it somewhere down the line mean that the product owner is not in sync with the team? Yeah, or the product owner is not in sync with that particular person who came out with these instructions on the urgent feature work. So there are some feature work which is deemed as urgent. You don't know why. Okay, fine, so let's get started, but hold on, the product owner says that you should not go ahead and start working on those urgent or high priority features. But then, what should be it? Now, let's go ahead and see the options. What does that mean whatsoever, or how should the project manager go ahead and deal with this particular problem? Option A says provide the executive access to add new items to the backlog. Doesn't matter, right? You adding or executive adding new features to the backlog is not the root cause of the problem, right? He is or she is going out and adding features to the backlog which are urgent, which are high prioritized, but the product owner seems to be upset about those features. What does that have to do to go ahead and provide the executive the access? Executive anyways have the access. Option A gets ruled out. Okay. Now make sure that the executive issues change requests for new items. Okay. Make sure that the executive issues change requests for new items. What will the change request go ahead and at all implement? Should we go ahead and have change requests in Agile? No. Option B also goes and gets ruled out. Option C says get the executive and the product owner together to agree on a workflow. Absolutely the way in which we are thinking forward, right? Option D says escalate to upper management to ensure that the executive no longer interferes with the team. Now, very, very important out here. Executive no longer interfering with the team. Now, has this question gone ahead and said that the R&D executive, whomsoever you are referring to, is coming out with wrong urgent features whatsoever, or the product owner is right? Might be the product owner is wrong and the R&D executive is right. But are we supposed, to go ahead and come out with a judgment on who is right and who is wrong from whatever the context is given in the question? So then, how are we going ahead and safely, saying that it should be D? Is a classic case of overthinking out here. We are assuming or we are judging that the product owner or the R&D executive should be right or wrong. Who says that they are right or wrong out here? And remember, very importantly, if you are thorough with the agile thought process, no one escalates out there in agile. You are empowering the team member to come out with the solutions whatsoever. If there is some issue or some difference in opinions, get into a collaboration, work with the team, get done with whatever is needed. So these aspects of thought processes, or what we refer to as PMI thought processes, is some, or are some, aspects which you should be continuously honing, the way in which we normally take you forward. And then only you'll be able to see that, yeah, I know for sure that it is D can't be the option, or B can't be the option, or A can't be the option. Eliminate A, B, and D, left with C, then also you go ahead and see that yes, this makes perfect sense. So always go for two ways. Have a fail-safe mechanism for each of these. First, get or read the question for 30 to 40 seconds. Check out all the options, the four options that are available out there. Go ahead and eliminate and see which particularly goes ahead and comes out. You can adopt as a last resort whatsoever, Pankaj, absolutely. And then you also go ahead and bolster your thought process, saying that yes, this makes sense for me. This is what precisely was the thought process that I should be going ahead with for this question. So it is option C. Proudly, confidently go ahead and mark, and don't think about this question once you have gone ahead and mark. You can mark it for review if you're not 100% confident. But remember, this exam goes ahead and goes ahead and has a lot of weightage on your first thought process whatsoever. So go ahead with the first thought process, and that will be the correct one 90% of the times. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, and your timer starts now. Okay, so I'm getting some options. Anyone else? Remember, there are a couple of options which will be pertinent. Okay, so many options, or many of you are going ahead and opting for B and C. Okay, let's see what the question is going ahead and saying. So you are part of an agile software team that's blocked for several weeks on a problem. Okay. Now the agile software team is blocked for several weeks on a problem. One of the team members get the problem resolved and facilitate the smooth release of the software. Okay. Now, one of the team members get the problem resolved and facilitate the smooth release of the software. That is resolving the blocker. Okay. However, post release, it appears that the solution being incorporated, that is what the person who resolved the blocker, whatever the solution that he or she had incorporated, that is the primary cause behind the functionality to fail. That is the release to fail. The quality head demands an explanation. I need an explanation. How could the release go ahead and fail out here? You are supposed to go ahead and get done with the work. You said that you have released the blocker, and now we see that whatever you went ahead and implemented as part of the blocker is causing the functionality to fail. I demand an explanation. The quality head, right? Now, which of the following reveal as to how should the project manager react? Two options. Okay. Tell the director that mistakes are inevitable. Never ever. This goes ahead and showcases that you are fondly going and acknowledging your mistake and saying that mistakes can happen. No. A gets ruled out. Option B, come out with definition of ready by working with the team. Now, is it about definition of ready whatsoever, to go ahead and make sure that, at the outset, even before implementing the software, you are ready with, whatever is needed as the inputs, at your end. Is that the way forward? Okay, let's see. Option C says work with the team and examine the gaps in definition of done. Absolutely the way forward, right? In definition of done, you are going ahead and reviewing the checklist of all the items, which you should be, before going ahead and reviewing with the customer. That's your definition of done. The checklist of items that you as a team need to adhere to for each and every story, before going ahead and presenting it to the customer. It can be say unit test done, manual test done, automation test done. Also all the documentation is getting going ahead and getting completed. All the acceptance criteria ticked whatsoever. Everything being fulfilled out there. Then only very importantly you go ahead and say that yes, definition of done is fulfilled, and you can go ahead and safely review it with the customer, right? So now, one of the key areas where you went ahead and saw in the question, which said that you had come out with the release, or you had come out with the the software solution, and also had released, but that didn't go ahead and meet the expectations, right? Why? Because it caused the functionality to fail. One of the prime causes would be where the gaps are, in definition of done. Because definition of done, if it is taken care of with all the tests and all the acceptance criteria in place, there can't be any misses in the in the work, right? So this has to be one of the options. Let's see what the other options tell us. Option D tells us ask the team to explain his rationale and lessons learned. Absolutely, the team member had gone ahead and come out with whatever he had got, she had got, has been, or she had come out with the solution whatsoever. But then, what is the rationale behind that? Is it that she has come out with a standalone kind of solution and not thought about the legacy, code, or the the code or the lines of program whatsoever which is already existing? Didn't he or she go out and come out with the acceptance criteria which would be relevant for the legacy as well, which is causing the functionality to break? If the team member has come out with that piece of code, let him or her go ahead and explain the rationale, or even the lessons that he or she went out and learned. Remember, the definition of ready is making you ready for implementation. Ready for implementation can be as simple as whether this story is groomed, whether you have the acceptance criteria at your place or not. That won't ensure that you are going in and testing the story, right? There could be even some misses while testing the story, which can be caught only while you are going ahead and adhering to the definition of done, not the definition of ready in this particular case. And this requires some degree of understanding the question what it is going ahead and asking, right? Option E, warn the team members about not taking risky initiatives. Well, that is also going ahead and getting ruled out. right? This is a very, very important concept. This particular question explains you several important concepts, especially the difference between definition of done and ready. Right. So B says about definition of ready. Now that in this particular context, where the team member has gone ahead and come out with some bug fix, which causes the build or the release to fail, it's not going to go ahead and meet that. Why? Because just now I explained, it's going to make you ready. The checklist is going to make you ready for implementation, not necessarily going to make it foolproof in terms of testing. What can make it foolproof in terms of testing? Obviously, the definition of done. Furthermore, the other option says that let the team member who had come out with that, problematic code, come out with his or her rationale. Let him or her go ahead and come out with the lessons learned for this. If for this question you'll have to understand the whole context end to end, then only go for the options. Because otherwise, it will be a tough, ball to go ahead and deal with, right? And for this question, or if you are going and attempting this question entirely end to end, all the important key concepts, especially the DOD and DOR, will be very, very clear what's to you. Okay, so let's move on. So this is your next question. You make it first full screen, and your timer starts now. Okay, so last 10 seconds. Okay, so time's up. And I already see some correct responses out here coming. Sure, Jimmy, I'll show the explanation out there. In fact, I have only gone ahead and written the explanation. So whatever I explain, that's pretty much the same, out there in the explanation as well. But for your benefit, I'll even go ahead and show the same. No worries. Okay, so I get a flurry of B's out there and one or two D's. Let's see what the question is saying. So, over the last three agile iterations, there has been an increasing trend of prolonged test work. Okay, the team performed an intensive backlog refinement, which goes out and helps you prioritize and deprioritize, the items whatsoever in the product backlog. Which of the following metrics, would reveal that the problem effectively addressed whatsoever, right? The problem, what is the problem? First and foremost, there has been increasing trend of prolonged test work. That is the problem, over the last three iterations. So there has been more and more, prolonged test work whatsoever. And the team is, going ahead and performed also intensive backlog refinement. Okay. Now, which of the following items or metrics would reveal that the problem got effectively mitigated, right? First option out there, hike in the value per story. Hike in the value per story. That's option A. Does that make sense in this current context? What would hike in the value per story go ahead and give? Yeah, there is increasing trend of prolonged test work. What does that have to do with value? There can be many or increased number of acceptance criteria or increased number of test scenarios whatsoever. Okay, Omon is saying curious to know if hike in value per story is a makeup word as PMI style. I don't know whether I should be branding it as hike or rather makeup kind of work whatsoever. But then it's not going to make me any or give me any dividends out here in this particular scenario, isn't it? Option B says number of stories completed per iteration. That is the throughput, right? Now that throughput or productivity will also go ahead and have some of the other, implications on the testing, right? If there is more test work and it's the stories are not going ahead and getting completed or done, your throughput would be less. Number of stories completed per iteration would be less. My productivity would be low. Now, if the throughput or the number of iteration is, as per a requirement or even more, that, the test work is going ahead and getting done with. So if there is prolonged test work, it will directly have implications on what? The productivity. And which of the following, is a good productivity measure? Throughput, right? So what is throughput? Number of stories completed per iteration. That's going to go ahead and give you the answer. Option C says speed of resolving impediments. Now, what would impediments have to do with, or only impediments have to do with testing? Right, so prolonged test work, whatever is being written, is not necessarily referring to only impediments which are temporarily slowing you down. Now the prolonged test work is an impediment for yourself, that's okay, but then speed of resolving impediments not necessarily means only resolving the prolonged test work, right? It can be anything else. So this is kind of a vague option, isn't it? Option D says fall in backlog item count. Never ever going to be the option out here, to go ahead and choose. So what will fall in backlog item count? Go ahead and do. Let it fall. Let the number of items in the backlog go ahead and fall. But will it have to have any bearing out there in the in this particular scenario? So obviously the correct option would be the number of stories completed per iteration, which is nothing else but the throughput. Okay. Okay. So now out here, as you see, backlog refinements result in smaller, less complex stories. This further aids to the team to go ahead and complete the stories faster, which would increase the throughput out there. Very, very importantly, I haven't mentioned the throughput, but that will actually go ahead and help resolve or come out with better throughput for this particular case, and that's what B is going ahead and taking care of in this particular question. Yes, it's B. Okay, let's move on. Your timer starts now. Okay, I see many of you going for option A. Okay, Pankaj has selected option D. Okay, Tajuddin option A. Let's see what the question is saying. Okay, so as an Agile project manager, Tom wishes to know more about whether there exists a good combination of T-shaped skills in the Agile team. Now, which of the following can Tom measure to help determine the same? Help determine what? The T-shaped skills. What are those T-shaped skills? Generalized specialist, right? Increased collaboration, right? Increased collaboration. But then, would it be option A out there? Greater degree of collaboration with subject matter experts? We can ballpark that for the time being. Is there anything else, which we are missing out? A greater degree of collaboration can happen for any reasons whatsoever, right? It can happen just because if you are following, agile approach, you know for sure that you'll have to work in a collaborative team. Would that be the standout option? That is the question out here. Many of you are going ahead with option A. I won't say that it's the incorrect option, but is there a better option out there? Let's see. Reduced internal knowledge sharing. Okay, reduced internal knowledge sharing. What does that have to do with T-shaped skills? Now, knowledge sharing and skills are different parts of the I won't say the same coin. It's entirely different, right? Different aspects whatsoever. I am knowledgeable in something. I am skillful in something is different, right? Knowledge and skills, somewhere down the line are entirely different aspects to play with. Option C says fall in reassigned tasks. Now here comes your understanding of T-shaped skills. Very, very importantly, and that too in Agile. Agile is all for you going ahead and sharing and caring with each and everyone. You going ahead and taking the mantle of solving any problem whatsoever, with equal efficacy and also with greater collaboration. So if you are going ahead and solving the questions with efficacy and collaboration, and remember that you are going ahead and taking care of others' tasks as well as your task whatsoever. That means that you are going ahead and taking forward in the right direction. So you say, for example, the task, whatever they come up with, have the relevant person who is going to take care of. That's well and good. If they still don't have the relevant person, or that person is going ahead and getting overloaded, then the collaborative people out there in the team, the people with those T-shaped skills only, would be responsible to go ahead and solve those tasks as well, or take care of those tasks proactively. You as a team will, at any point of time, go ahead and take care of those tasks and move forward. That's where the T-shaped skills of the agile team comes in play. And when that happens, an immediate implication will be that there won't be any reassigned tasks, because you as a team will go ahead and take care of all the tasks by yourself. Very, very important concept to take care of. This is actually an implication of T-shaped skills out there itself. D says fall in detected defects. What does that have to do with T-shaped skills? Remember, T-shaped skills is all about you going ahead and having some set of skills at your own end. So you can say that I'm a skilled developer, I'm a skilled tester. Okay, well and good. Now, if say for example, if the time comes, up and over my development or testing skills, am I able to assist the team in the other cases as well? If I am, that is the good combination or demonstration of the T-shaped skills, and that would, as an implication, help reduce the fall in reassigned tasks. There won't be too many reassigned tasks whatsoever. You'll be able to seamlessly go ahead and deal with that. Right? So the right option out here is fall in reassigned tasks. And as you see, presence of several T-shaped members would agree in greater degree of collaboration, faster execution of assigned work. That's why the reassigned task would go ahead and decline whatsoever. Again, if you have any doubts or queries, feel free to reach me out. It's a very, very nice example of T-shaped skills. And if you go ahead and solve this question correctly, you're for sure in a place to go ahead and say that, yeah, I understand how Agile team works, how the dynamics work, how people inside Agile team go ahead and collaborate with one another. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Your time starts now. Okay, any other options? Okay, so I see a flurry of B's and one C out there. Okay, so let's see what the correct option to this question is. Okay, so you are the Agile project manager of an IT integration team. Testing has confirmed that the software which got delivered in the previous releases, has come up with some problem and needs to be fixed immediately. It happens, right? So whatever software was delivered or whatever product was delivered in the previous release, that has encountered some problem and needs to be rectified immediately. What should you go ahead and do next? Okay. Option A says inform the team about the non-conformings in daily stand-up and get the definition of done and ready updated. Okay. Execute root cause analysis with the team on why the problem didn't surface earlier. Okay. Stop the sprint to meet the product owner and team to update the product backlog. Okay. Meet with the scrum master to determine if the project vision is still valid. Okay. So it says that you got something delivered in the previous sprint and that needs to be rectified immediately. right? Now, in such cases whatsoever, will you go ahead and execute the root cause right away and then see why didn't the problem surface earlier, or will you go ahead and fix the problem? That is the question. If you are hitting some problem, you'll have to fix it. You'll have to stop the sprint and go ahead and update the product backlog with the item of the previous sprint itself. Update in the sense whatever got closed, you'll have to be reopened because there is some problem in this in that particular story, and it has to be sprint worked on in the right sprint itself, in the current sprint itself. So it's all about you going ahead and seeing that in the last sprint you had gonna deliver something, you know, which also got reviewed. Customer didn't pick some issue, but at this point of time, after some repeated testing, it goes ahead and throws some issues or errors whatsoever. So whatever you have delivered earlier has some problem, needs to be rectified immediately. That's what also the question goes ahead and says. If that is, if there is some kind of urgency like this, the rectification needs to happen immediately, then you can't go ahead and continue with the work at hand. Absolutely, you can. You have to stop the sprint in urgent cases like these, not at any moment whatsoever, wherever you feel or wish. But then in situations like these, where it says in the question that you need to be rectified immediately, you'll have to stop the sprint and take the onus and take it forward from there on, right? So the best option out here is option C, where you go ahead and stop the sprint, yeah, and take it forward from there on, end to end. Now, without root cause, how we fix the problem? Now, very very importantly, more than root cause out there, you'll have to go ahead and work on that. The previous item. You'll have to first reopen it, right? Then you go ahead and come out with the root cause and fix the issue. But you will have to stop this sprint. You can't say that let's first, go ahead and find the root cause to the problem and then we will work on that. No, you'll have to go ahead and come out with that item as highest priority item in the current sprint and go ahead and take it forward from there on. No, in this case whatsoever, specifically, you have to go ahead and stop the sprint. You can't just say that there is some problem, let's ignore, and then go ahead and get done with the sprint and we'll possibly deal with the problem at some other sprint. No. So absolutely not. Root cause doesn't work out here whatsoever. Why will you go ahead and check out the root cause whatsoever? Why it didn't surface earlier? It says that it needs immediate rectification and immediate attention whatsoever. If it says like that, why will you go ahead and still go for the root cause? Think about that. Think about this question. You still have any doubts? You can reach me out. Needs immediate mitigation. Yes, absolutely. See, it's not about agile PM. It's all about the team. So agile PM will have to go ahead and take care of everyone's consensus and go ahead and take a call on stopping the sprint, because you can't stop. You can't go ahead and keep working if there is some problem which needs immediate attention, isn't it? See, root cause analysis you can go ahead and perform even in agile as well. No one is going ahead and stopping you against that. Any problem you can go ahead with root cause analysis. I won't say that it's a waterfall approach and it's not an agile approach whatsoever. But if this needs immediate rectification attention, your first step is to go ahead and modify the backlog and go ahead and take forward the the incorrect stuff whatsoever and take it forward in the current sprint and see how you can go ahead and best go for it. Absolutely, Indumati. Stop the sprint, update the backlog, do root cause analysis, and go ahead and come out with howsoever you should be going ahead and acing this particular problem. See, root cause analysis can take time. It can go ahead and take the whole sprint as well. Will you wait till the whole sprint until unless you come out with the root cause and then go ahead and fix the problem, or will you go ahead and incorporate that problem? Get started with that work, reopen it. You can't remember your product backlog item which you had gone ahead and demoed is closed, right? So it has to be reopened. That's your first step out there. You can go ahead and work on the root cause and then also implement the the rectification immediately after that. Yes, it would authorize the action needed immediately, rectification needed immediately. It means that indirectly or directly you'll have to go and stop the work and take it forward. Very important question, and you should be very mindful of these kinds of scenarios. Let's move ahead. Okay. So your time for question 9 starts now. Okay, so I see many of you coming up with the right choice for this particular question. Now, in such cases, where, say, for example, things were going on smoothly, and there is a certain abrupt, stoppage, and you having to go ahead and see, how to go ahead and manage the complexity from that particular track, whatsoever, and see whatever part of the project which doesn't have that complexity, how to best deal with both the one which is certain and also the part which is complex or uncertain, how to deal with both. So then you have a certain thought process for dealing with such questions, and this is what precisely will be reflected out here in this particular question. So it says that XYZ Incorporation is a French startup that announces to the press about an imminent launch in the European Union and North America. Okay, so soon afterwards, the launch, the compliance team suggests that the launch gets delayed, by 10 months in order to avoid penalties related to a new set of European Union regulations. Which of the following approaches could you, the project manager, adopt to advance the launch project while preparing for the compliance measures? So you're preparing for the compliance measures whatsoever. You have to. There's no other way around. You'll have to go out and meet the compliance whatsoever. But then, which of the following approaches should you be going ahead and advising, to adopt to go ahead and see that you are preparing for, the launch as well as adopting the compliance measures. Now, for aspects which requires you to adopt the compliance measures, the complex part will have to be dealt, say, for example, from Agile, and the one which is as per the the plan whatsoever, as per the launch, what whenever is supposed to happen in European Union and North America, happening on a predictive basis. So have both of these going hand in hand, and you see that you are in the safe hands out here. Come up with an estimation of impact on the penalties of the project. Okay, execute a SWOT analysis to prioritize. Okay, reflect the work affected by regulations in Agile track, replan unaffected into the predictive schedule. Remember, anytime whenever you get to see such options, you'll again have to check back whether it's going ahead and helping solve. Whether there is a predictive part and Agile part, yes, it is. Go for this particular option. Replan predictive as a large scale scrum cycle. Why will you replan the predictive part of the project? The predictive part can be dealt with in the predictive way itself, isn't it? So that is the key to understand out here and take forward. Right? So the right option out here is option C. So let's move ahead with the last question of the day. And we make it full screen. Then you timers now. Okay, so I see a few of the options, but remember there are two options to select. There are two options, Manvin. There are two options. Yes, okay. Aaron says BC, Innocent says BC, Maleshwara says AC, Pankaj says CD. So it's a mix and match. Let's see what the correct options are. Okay, so the question says that Jason is the project manager of a hybrid virtual reality project. The project is running both an agile as well as a predictive track. Okay. Now, halfway into the project, delays start accumulating owing to misaligned deliverable releases between two tracks. So the deliverable releases happen to be misaligned between the agile and the predictive tracks. Now, Jason, who is the project manager, wishes to come up with a combined network diagram to help align both of the tasks. Which of the following steps should you undertake to help achieve the same? Okay, so two tracks. One is agile, the other being predictive. You want to go ahead and see how to best align these two tracks whatsoever. How should you go ahead and uh, set yourself for the same better alignment between two tracks? And very importantly, Jason wishing to go ahead and come up with a combined network diagram to help in that alignment. Which of the following steps should you undertake to help achieve the same? So option A says epic breakdown, work breakdown structure. What will breaking down the work go ahead and help you in this particular case? Definition of done with exit criteria. Okay, I can go ahead and keep that in mind. Remember, definition of done with exit criteria being involved out there would ensure that in both of these cases you are not going. There is both of the tracks. You are not going and immediately reviewing it with the customer until and unless you have the exit criteria for each of these tracks ascertained. So this makes sense to me, right? B. Option C says product backlog with critical path task sequence. Now, network diagram, critical path. Okay, so might be that I have to go ahead with this. Not necessarily. What will critical path task sequence go ahead and have anything to do or any semblance on product backlog? Remember, agile track and predictive track. Nowhere it is said that the activities whatsoever or howsoever you're coming up with, you know, lies on the critical path and all these. And even say for example, it might be lying on the critical path on the predictive track. How about agile? How to go ahead and seamlessly align whatsoever? Not necessarily the way forward to think from C's perspective. Option D says definition of ready with work breakdown structure. Again, what will definition of ready have anything to do? It is just making the items ready for implementation. But it's more from the done with the exit criteria, which is going to help align the two tracks. What will my definition of ready with work breakdown structure go ahead and help me? Remember also that work breakdown structure is more of a predictive concept, not an agile one. So whenever you see work breakdown structure with definition of ready, these two can't go ahead and sync up. Definition of ready with dependency milestones? Yes. Now that is definitely going to sync up. Yeah, definition of ready was also in place. Then, with the dependency milestones, if say for example being there, like now you won't go ahead and implement something on predictive track until unless say something is there on the agile track, and vice versa. With dependency milestones, and milestone one getting done in agile track, then only you go for the story in milestone two in the predictive track, or the other way around. This makes perfect sense. You go ahead and set it up, for the delivery and take it forward from there on. So, what are the best options out here? Of course, option B. So, we discussed definition of done with exit criteria, and of course, option E as well. Definition of ready with dependency milestones. Remember, not with work breakdown structure out here, right? So this was also one instance which went ahead and told you, for sure, as to what should be, your thought process while dealing with this definition of done and ready. And by sure, for sure, if you are seeing this particular video or going through it again, all these concepts will be very, very clear. Again, if you have any doubts or, if you have any queries or, you have anything to go ahead and ask me about PMP, you can reach me out at any point of time. This is my email ID. Right? I've also shared my number earlier, and also very importantly, you can connect with me over LinkedIn as well. So don't worry, Zen. Whatever explanation that you are going ahead and seeing in this particular, session or examples, those have been written by me itself. So don't worry that I am going ahead and, not, giving the full explanation whatsoever. So it is the explanation what you are going ahead and coming up with. Remember the way in which we are going ahead and discussing. Remember the thought process. That's where, you'll go ahead and get the best of examples out there. My pleasure. My pleasure. And, I will look forward to going ahead and having you all, going ahead and, coming up in our next session. Next session that will be going ahead and held next week again near around the same time, where we'll be discussing a set of brand new 10 sample clone questions. And also very importantly, we have, as I mentioned at the outset, a lot of things going ahead and being taken care of with with precision out there from April onwards. So be on the lookout for various important facets, be on the lookout of various important aspects, and also various concepts, and the best ways to go ahead and deal with those. I'm very sure that you went ahead and liked the session. I was also very happy to go ahead and see all your participations in this session. Yes, there were a lot of tricky questions, but then at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that even if you're going ahead and dissecting each and every of these questions and taking more time out, you will go ahead and see that your exam will be a huge success. Remember, it's all about quality, not quantity, especially for this exam where strategy also goes on and takes a long or a big plays a big role out there in your examination preparation. If you have again any doubts, please feel free to reach me out, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. There's several things coming up. It's not going to be the time where we are going to wait and let things happen. Rather, we will go ahead and make sure that we'll take the onus at our end, take the baton at our end, and make sure that we are going ahead and coming out with the success story. Nothing else apart from your success goes ahead and makes us happier, and we'll look forward to your success stories. At any point of time. Very happy to see, Oman. You are going ahead and taking the exam next week. I'm pretty sure that you are going to ace this. From the entire set of audience out there, we wish you all the very best and good luck. I look forward to your success story personally as well, because you are one of the persons who are joining from the outset of taking these sessions. So you will do great. No worries. Awesome then, guys. We'll go ahead and sign off for the day, and we'll look forward to having you all next week. Good luck to everyone who are going ahead and planning to ace this exam. Near the end of March or even the first week of April. I'm pretty sure that all of you are going to come up with very good success stories out there, and we'll look forward to us the same. Thank you, and have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.